You jail Nnamdikanu tomorrow, another person will come out. Okay. Because that is the ideology. I keep saying Biafra is an ideology. The things the youths are seeing in the southeast is what drives them. You have in the southeast, they arrest young people, young boys, they charge them for terrorism, they call them IPOP, they lock them up. You arrest bandits in the north. You arrest terrorists in the north. And what do? You call them repentant. And you reintegrate them back into the society. What kind of justice system is that? So we must be honest with ourselves in this country. If we want peace, let us look at peace from the aspect of justice. Because any peace devoid of justice is peace of the graveyard.
You want to tell me that this FG, they didn't know what Ekpa was doing in Finland? They didn't know. Is that what they are trying to tell me? Did you remember how many times we told them from the southeast, bring this man here, let him answer? They just kept deaf ear. Until this judgment, we now told the Finnish government to take care of this man. What he's doing in the southeast is not our calling, it's not our character. We don't kill people over there. But this man, I don't know who hired him. I don't know who he's working with. So this FG, since you have vindicated, the ones that are under your nose you hear, what are you doing with them? Can't you vindicate yourself with the ones under you? Was it not said that you remove the log of food in your own life before they speak in another person? So I should now celebrate with you, Abi, because they have just Simon Ekpa. Told you Bello and his fellow travelers that are under your nose here, what have you done with them? Federal government of Nigeria, what have you done with them? If not for the way we cried out and the action of Finnish government, Simon Ekpa will still be operating today. Because what he's doing in the southeast is to the benefit of the federal government. That's why they allowed him. And today, the needful have been done. And they are now celebrating. Celebrate the ones here with us. Celebrate the one who is here with us. That is when I will know that, yes, you meant what you are saying. The Attorney General is telling us that they are waiting for the CTC of the judgment. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with the certified true copy? We are talking of terrorists that are disturbing Nigeria here for 15 years now. No prominent one among them have been jailed. Toju Bello is still talking and dining and whining with the federal government. Please, for God's sake, when will this Nigerian government at least show us some mercy in their attitude? The embarrassment is too much all over the world. The federal government will send them to go and be talking with a known terrorist, a wanted terrorist. And they are now celebrating Simon Ekpa that was jailed in Finland for terrorism activities. Can you just imagine? A complete contradiction. Can you just imagine? So, you want to tell me that when you get the city, what are you going to do with it? That the Attorney General is waiting for it? Please, they should spare all this in short. It's becoming too much. They have reduced Nigeria to, I don't know. In fact, Banana Republic is even worse than Nigeria now. You are dining and whining with terrorists. Then under 9 months, one that is operating in Finland have been jailed. And you are not even ashamed. You are saying you are waiting for the CTC. So you now copy what they did, Abi, before you can now jail these ones here. Is that what you are waiting for? A whole Attorney General. Look at what is going on in Nigeria here. No single one of them has been brought to book. Rather, you are negotiating and dining with them. So it is when they tell somebody in abroad that you now know what to do, Abi. Is that what you are telling me? It's a shame.
Let's
very big shame.
Why must you have somebody that have to be in the side of my people? That is the dangerous diversity that have brought us this far, because it will never work. Everything about Nigeria is what favors my people. I don't want what we want a Biafra where everything favors everybody. But when you have Nigeria, it is either Fulani. Now we don't even have Hausa anymore because Fulani have overshadowed them. So it is either you are fighting for Northern as a Fulani Muslim, or you are fighting for Yorubas, or you are fighting for Igbo people. So how can you continue in that kind of system? This is why we must make sure that we don't validate Nigeria again. Election is not happening in Biafra land.
Because you don't want people to vote?
Not me. Biafra have decided. I am telling you the fact. There is nothing that will make Biafran's people to go out and vote. This is a life and death matter. We have come a long way. For over 50 years, Nigeria have done all manner of genocide, committed genocide against our people, kill us every day, and you expect us to allow them to continue to kill us, to elect governors that will bring military and militarize our territory? We can't do that again. Nobody will vote in Biafra land. I am telling you the fact. It will shock the world. We've made up our mind and we know what we have on ground. This particular civil disobedience is also a democratic process. And I want you to see it in that perspective. When people say, I don't want, it is their choice. And if you think that there are people who want to vote that are bigger in number, conduct a referendum. As simple as that. For now, we control 90% of Biafra people. 90%. That Nigeria is a mistake because of the tribal and dangerous diversity in Nigeria, which is also a destructive diversity. So when you give the people the choice to choose how they want to live, that is a true democracy. A democracy is not when you bring in the military and invent communities, burn the communities because people are protesting. You kill them. Is that democracy? Do you do that in the United Kingdom? The answer is no.
But what about your role in all this?
Ekpa, speaking on the high rates of violence in the southeast states, which have been linked to the activities of the IPOB and the ESN, defended his role in instigating violence in the region and accused the Nigerian government of being the perpetrators of the reported violence.
What I do, it is the provocation of the policy of Nigeria. Okay? So it is a long time bomb coming. So what you see happening now, Nigeria have a history of violence from the beginning of Nigeria. After independence, every election in Nigeria has witnessed violence. So it is not about me. I am here as a good guy to put an end, to have a lasting solution to the violence that have caused the life of thousands of Nigerians. I am the good guy trying to teach the people that they have a right. There is no blood on my hand. There are more blood on those supporting the election, supporting this particular coming election. They have more blood in their hand. In Imo State, you have a governor that have invented his own state. And why are you people not talking about that? Those are the people that have blood in their hand. All the people that have been elected in Nigeria since 1960 all have had bloods in their hand, and nobody is asking the question. I am just the good guy who say enough is enough. Somebody have to say something and somebody have to do something, and we're doing it. That has been released by a man called Ikenga Imo, when an assassin invaded his house and they wanted to kill him. They are police officers, but if there is no CCTV, they will say unknown gunmen. These are the people that are causing all this crisis in Biafra land. But without that video, everybody has concluded that they are unknown gunmen. Today we have known them. What are the government doing about it? What are the international community doing about it? Every evidences that have surfaced anywhere about CCTV camera, it has always been security agent from the Nigeria state.
Ekpa also responded to questions about him giving orders from outside the shores of Nigeria, rather fighting from within the country.
You should know. You see, I learn from what happened to others. I don't want to put my life in danger because the country, as far as I'm concerned, does not exist. Any country that does not respect the rule of law does not exist.
You're scared you might be killed?
Not everybody. You know that. You can say that as well. Yes. Yes, there's a bounty on my head because Nigeria, because of the Islamic agenda in Nigeria, whoever that rises up to say something that will, make the life of the people to be better, they want to kill the person. They assassinate people every day. That is what we are fighting against. We are defending ourselves and we have armed ourselves to fight Nigeria till the last day. We have done it before. The only difference now is that today we have social media. If social media was there in the 1960s, somebody will do what I'm doing today. In those days, we have a man called Okokondem. Okokondem was broadcasting for Radio Biafra and was propagating Biafra stuff, but because there were no social media, so he would have done even what I'm doing today, I believe so. So this is what will make a difference. And my activities on social media is educating the people, telling them they are right, that you have a right to say no, and you have the right to say yes.
Who's funding you and your organization?
Biafra people are funding my organization.
Not the Tinubu party?
I have nothing to do with Tinubu. And it's very funny. A lot of people said Tinubu paid me 25 million. How is that possible? How is it possible?
You're denying
I don't know who is Tinubu. I have never communicated with anybody close to him. Just like the way they forged the letter. The reason why this letter issue, Nigeria is a criminal country. They breed criminals, and that's what we're fighting against. The reason why the letter on gets sorted out easily and fast was because it was against Finland, and Finland have to officially react to the letter, and the letter went viral. There are so many lies against me out there on social media. Nobody could come and say it is not true.
This is the reason why you shouldn't be happy about Simon Ekpa's conviction in Finland. Finland has jailed Simon Ekpa, fine and good, but locking one man in a European cell doesn't erase the questions that pushed him into the spotlight, or should I say the grief felt across the Southeast. Today, we will tell a story about cause and the effects, how politics, justice, and double standards feed conflict, and why a jail cell is not the same as a solution. This is a quick fact. A Finnish court recently sentenced Simon Ekpa to prison after finding him guilty of terrorism-related offenses and related counts. That ruling focuses on incitement and support for violent acts connected to Biafra agitation. Now, someone would ask, was this Simon Ekpa? The answer is no. talking about the vacuum that produced Simon Ekpa. To understand Ekpa, you have to rewind when Nnamdikanu, the man who first internationalized the IPOB cause, who was extraordinarily renditioned to Nigeria from Kenya in 2021. It left a leadership vacuum and a bundle of unresolved political grievances. That extraordinary rendition and the legal fallout around it have become a rallying cry and a source of deep mistrust. The legal and diplomatic roles that followed show how fraught the detention question is for many Igbos. In history, leadership vacuums often produce louder and riskier voices. Some diaspora figure amplify sit-at-home orders and fiery broadcasts. Some local actors answered with arms. Whether you condemn or sympathize with many actors, the pattern is predictable. Talking about perceived injustice and few peaceful channels for redress, that is almost equal to radicalization. Now, talking about the double standard, why many feel this is political, not just criminal. A lot of anger isn't just only about one leader. It's about perceived selective justice. In the Northeast, courts and the military have at times released suspected Boko Haram suspects for lack of evidence and run rehabilitation or surrender programs, even while communities worry about some returnees. In contrast, families in the Southeast point to taking lives, disappearances, and heavy-handed responses against those labeled IPOB or their sympathizers, often with little transparent legal processes, people jailed for years without trial. That contrast fuels the narrative of agitation. Why are my children treated differently? These are always the question from parents from the Southeast. Then in human costs, life, schools, and livelihood, what are the nature? These are not abstract numbers. Amnesty and other groups have documented, taking lives, disappearances, and forced closure of schools, crippling economic losses tied to prolonged sit-at-home actions and violent clashes. Communities say children miss school, markets close, and families live in fear every day. To me, this is a social and economic erosion that justice alone won't repair. Now, jailing Simon Ekpa answers a legal question. Did he break Finnish law? But obviously, it does not. Address the root political causes: representation, resource sharing, policing. Heal the trauma caused by controversial arrest, rendition, like that of Kanu. Remove the incentive for new, more extreme voices or even more extreme voices to emerge unless credible political channels open. In short, a prison stops an individual. Politics and reconciliation stops movement. And that is what the federal government should do. Trash out the reason behind the anger, where people's frustration comes from. When ordinary Igbo youths are labeled militants, arrested without, visible due process or even taking the life of the person in an unclear circumstances, while large numbers of suspected fighters elsewhere are processed, pardoned, and reintegrated, the sense of injustice compounds every day. That is why many who otherwise want peace say no second chance, and that feels like hypocrisy. These grievances are political and social. They will not be fixed by selective prosecution alone. Legal battle is a no way for Biafra agitation. That is what it is. Coming to what the responsible government should do. This shouldn't be a rocket science, and I believe it is not. If the goal is actually for a lasting peace, here is a practical, politically realistic agenda, not wishful thinking. First of all, you talk about independent, time-bound inquiry. A commission with domestic and neutral international observers to document abuses across regions and recommend prosecution where warranted. Secondly, a genuine national round table. Federal, state, traditional leaders, civic groups, and diaspora representatives, including those with grievances, should negotiate governance, policing, and resource questions with legally enforceable outcomes. Thirdly, equal, transparent application of law. Public prosecutions, clear evidence standards, and visible due process must replace secretive detention and extrajudicial actions toward the certain people. Then number 4, demobilization, rehabilitation, and jobs for young people at risk offered across the country, not selectively. Finally, local reconciliation and reparations, truth-telling, support for victims, and rebuilding schools, market to restore normal life and so rest of some other issues that should be addressed, that I believe that only a roundtable, political roundtable, would actually resolve. So these steps will foster into reducing incentives for violent leadership to appear and make the cause of illegal tactics clear and unattractive. Now, if you are watching this, ask tough questions like demanding transparencies, support reputable human rights investigations, amplify victim testimony, not only victories, pressure representatives to open dialogue, not preaching for double down on imprisonment as the only tool, which has not helped Nigeria, according to history. So yes, Simon Ekpa is jailed, but don't let that become an excuse to ignore the hard work ahead. If you care about peace in the Southeast and across Nigeria, push for a roundtable, insist on equal justice, and demand long-term social and economic solutions. Drop your thought below. What one demand would you put on a genuine national roundtable? Like, share, and subscribe. Of course, as always, our own is to report the news the way it is, the raw analysis. So let's not celebrate a jail of Simon Ekpa, but to pressure for a lasting solution of this whole Biafra cause. Thank you for watching.